Okay, great. So a big thank you to everybody joining today for this session. To introduce myself, Mark Reddy, head up the channel and sales of the Google Meet hardware business in EMEA. So that's responsible for the Google Meet hardware and Jamboard products that are available in the market today. We want to try and keep questions to Q&A at the end, but what I would say is that if you wish to ask during this, or there's things that you want to make a comment on, we do have the chat available within this as well. And I think it's fair to say that what we're going to do is really sort of break this up into sort of like a number of areas here, which is I'll talk a little bit about Google Meet itself, and then I've got from the OEM partners, you will hear updates today from BenQ, ASUS, and Logitech. We will then wrap up with a Q&A and a close at 3 o'clock. So what I would say is, try and keep the questions to the end, but obviously chat's a great way for us to prep up questions if you think they're going to be a bit complex for us to answer. Now, just as I say, is if you want to get the latest from my side on the Google Meet hardware, I use LinkedIn a lot to post. There's my QR code if you want to take a picture of that now. The reason we do that is there's a lot of information coming that's very Google Meet hardware specific or relates around chat. And sometimes it's hard to find that. So I do make sure that we post what's going on with the sort of like latest developments from resellers and other things that are going on as well. So please take advantage of that. And really the objectives today, I think, the first thing here is to say, we know with COVID and what has happened that there's a lot of questions around what are offices, what is home working going to look like in the future. I think here really we just want to make sure that you get a concise and detailed update on what the meeting room opportunity is today. I think this for businesses, it's been a period of unparalleled challenge, but there is also opportunities to change the culture, the way you work within an organization. We also think it's important that you meet and connect with the wider OEM ecosystem. It's very important for us that we obviously work with third parties such as Logitech, ASUS, and BenQ, that you know where they are and where they stand with that. We've also had a lot going on around hardware as well, and I think we want to make sure there's a clear understanding on where Google Meet hardware is today, and we can go from there. And then finally, also looking at finding meeting solutions in a wider Google Cloud context as well. We are part of G Suite. I think it's really important to emphasize that within the G Suite area, that is something we just want to make sure you can see that we're leveraging that to provide the most productive tools possible for your users. And as I said, it is about moving beyond just the hardware and the software. I think this is really a very important thing to say, which is that with what we've seen with people going to work from home is that there's been, the productivity on video tools has never been more important. And rather than looking back, say 10 years ago to when you would have been talking about a very static room, this is being used in a variety of use cases and scenarios. We're seeing the use of video for wormhole technology to have a permanent point to access is important, but we're also seeing that you want to have ideation in the form of the Jamboard next to the Hangout as well. And I think it's important to realize that you have the hardware itself that you see here, but you also have the ability to use this on a laptop, a tablet, a phone as well. And also within your organization, I think that video conferencing and the element of video brings in a wider community. And I've sort of been looking at this over the last couple of years is the conversations that you may be having within your business are not just connected to the IT area. There's a far wider picture to this. And I think particularly we see that with the COVID return to work, your facilities teams are becoming more important as stakeholders within this. Like, is the office safe? What will the capacity of rooms be? How will we structure rooms? And facilities are going to be obviously a leading partner in that. They're going to also look at room administration. And to give you an example of that, it's interesting when talking to some businesses about this, that some of the feedback we're getting is that, why move to Google Meet hardware versus just have a laptop and use an HDMI cable? Well, obviously, a laptop is something that's very personal. We all, well, certainly most people I know don't wear gloves to use their own laptop. They would be using their fingers to do that. That's something now that has to be sanitized and cleaned to be checked if there's a problem in a meeting. So troubleshooting is changing, and we see room administration playing a major part of that the G Suite admin could well be the first line of support. They do not necessarily want to come into the room and fix the issue straight away because of distancing and everything else. The final part to add to that is the piece here that's highlighted in yellow around the comms teams as well. Live stream is never been more important. It's never been more used as well within Google. The ability to be able to run company-wide addresses is something with remote workers that's only going to increase in importance. And you may find in your organization that the comms team want to look at that. We also see that the use of live streams internally and being met with questions about, well, that's great, but I want to actually move that and share it externally. And again, all these things are sort of coming together so that the stakeholders within the video conferencing collaboration culture are not just IT and AV. You're going to see this more and more in terms of successful deployments, that facilities and comms teams will have a role within that. Now, as I said at the start, we are part of G Suite, and I think this is really important, that the consistency that we're also working on is around the screens. As you can see, probably the majority of us are right on the left-hand side at this stage, using the likes of a laptop or a phone to keep in touch, but that also extends out to the Jamboard and the Google Meet hardware as well. And what you'll see is, as we continue to work on the roadmap and add new features, the ability to use Calendar to book meetings, the ability to share slides, present wirelessly, which I'm doing now off my Chromebook, are all things that we can look at. And I think what I would say to you if you're talking to your users, that the key here with the tools is they're consistent, the experience is easy to use. And I think the big part here is that it's not always going to be about Google Meet hardware. It could also be around working to have a headset, a Bluetooth headset to go with a laptop. It could also be around the fact that you've got to look at things like home Wi-Fi for somebody on a laptop. So as I said, the products travel now from screen to screen and help you to keep your business in touch with your business users wherever they may be. And as I said, this slide is probably what we all know and are practicing today. The workplace is evolving into a workspace, and I think we were talking a lot about employees being away from their desks 50% of the time. I think in the current environment that we're going to, that could well be that away from the desk 50% for some people is becoming 90, 100. It's becoming the home office, the home user experience. I think also the fact is that with the way G Suite is, the core productivity apps and data are in the cloud, so you haven't got to now worry about people moving around where they work. To do that. And finally, employees want a connected and collaborative workspace. And I think there's what you will see today, but there's also the human aspect of this, meeting people and having a virtual coffee. There's the fact that we are starting to see, businesses may open up for their employees to go back to the office, but having external visitors is still a question about whether they'll come on site or not. But you can use this technology to provide that connection back in. And the session we're on today, there's about 75 people on it. This could just as easily be used to be having a brainstorming, an offsite, other ways of networking for your organization. Now, one of the things that always sort of comes back on this is, what is Google's use of video conferencing? These are the last statistics that we published out recently. We have about 20,000 meeting rooms in our offices, followed by about 22,000 video conferencing units, nearly 23 now. What's interesting about this is that when you are looking at the usage of this, there's a few things to point out. One is we have an unparalleled knowledge of how to deploy video conferencing. We're also learning about deploying video conferencing remotely. That gap of about 2,700 units are devices that are currently being used at home. As an example, I today am on one of those, which is the Chrome base for meetings. And The experience that we have after generating sort of like in terms of video conferencing minutes, meetings per day and meetings per month means that we were very well placed in Google to go back out of the office and work from home. And I think if you're looking at the confidence of using this, that knowledge we can share with you today about how that works and what we've learned as well. Now, I think the fact is that we've also made some basic changes within the G Suite as well about being able to talk. It's never been easier to start a video meeting, whether it's on the laptop or the meeting room. And I think this is really important because we were talking initially about this, about being hallway conversations. I think it's now actually hopping onto a video call is even more important now, because you want to be able to have those informal conversations that you just can't do walking across an office. So very important that what you think about the features is for success in your organization. It could well be that just getting people to use this on a laptop is more important than the hardware itself. There is almost like a circle within this, that the more you get people to use this on their laptop, the more they'll be comfortable about using it in a meeting room as well. Likewise, like I said, with the live stream piece, it's really important. This feature is available to all G Suite users today until the fact is that until September the 30th, if you are on G Suite Basic or Business, you can test both of these out. Is that you can run a meeting for 250 endpoints, and you can also use Livestream. Now, Livestream is really quite a clever piece of technology because it relies on some of the back-end architecture of YouTube to provide an experience for up to 100,000 concurrent viewers. Now, this is really important because it offers you the ability to try out webinars. So if you are an organization that has 4,000 or 5,000 employees, your organization can talk to everybody via a live stream with 250 people on the Hangout who may be talking. Now, in the case of the session we've done today, we've taken actually the decision that as this is under 100 people, that what we want to do is we want to make it more interactive. So we've actually chosen to stay on a Hangout versus demonstrate the live stream technology. But it's available today, and for all G Suite users, you can try that right now. Likewise, within the product, accessibility is important around captions. I'm just going to demonstrate that now and turn the feature on. But you can also see that with this, that when you are working on it, that it does give you a little bit extra. And I think it's very important. One thing that has been highlighted to us also is that it's very good for people who maybe are working on a Wi-Fi that's delayed or got an issue with sound, so that you can hear somebody talking, but if you can't, you can at least see what they're saying on the captions as well. Now, again, this is obviously using some of the recognition technology that we have today, but I think it's very important to sort of take a step back and look at this as part of the future, is that for people who are hard of hearing or maybe English isn't their first language, we have that sort of caption control available, and it can be used to help with a session. Interestingly, this morning I was presenting another event, and somebody actually asked for about this sort of feature because they were using lip reading to follow my talking. Now this would probably provide a very good way to keep up with what's going on as well. I'm going to switch it off now to just show you how easy it is to switch off as well. Again, all of this comes back into the features, and we get asked a lot with the hardware. Well, yeah, it's great that we deploy, but my CFO wants to know return on investment. People want to know how it's going to work. Along with our, working with our resellers, you can have a thing on the Google admin where you can be a delegated admin who looks after just the hardware itself. Now, in some cases, we do know today of some of our reseller partners who are actually taking this on a full-time basis. In other cases, it's your facility part of the organization. I genuinely believe with the alerts and the management of devices, you do not necessarily want to now send somebody into a meeting room if you're already at capacity. The fact you've got to ask somebody to leave to go in is going to be an issue. Now you can use the Google admin tool to see if the peripherals are working okay and where the problem might be. I think this is very valuable to have that device view, but also you've got the ability to issue alerts, and also you can export information out to reduce the overhead from an administration point of view. So first of all, you can map a piece of a Google Meet hardware or Jamboard kit as an asset within the admin console. The next part of it is if you have an international organization or you're just spread across the UK, you want to be able to phone somebody up and say, well, actually, maybe you need to look at this part of the kit to see if there's an issue or not. As I said, we've also added a number of things that are interesting around room management and analysis. The ability now to see how much rooms or the kit is being used is now available. I think this is highly important. You want to be able to make sure real estate is being leveraged, but also that the right rooms are covering the right meetings. Again, we see particularly we're very much at the start of the curve here with the ability to export some of this information to BigQuery and do analysis, but also you are able now to track things like network and jitter and other parts to this. So again, if you've got more questions, we can talk at the end, or it's well worth getting a demonstration from one of our reseller partners to look at how this works off their own admin tools that they use within their business. All of this is sort of backed up by world-class security and privacy. I think the first thing to say is, yes, the session you're in right now that we're running is a Chrome session off my device. But if you are on Firefox, Microsoft Edge or Safari without a client installed, Meet will run now. And I think this is important because we have had feedback, and I think it's been fair to say, look, what do I do if I can't download Chrome? How am I going to join? Well, now what we will do as Google is we will work with versions of Edge and Safari that are secure and that can join a Hangout. So we're going to keep updating and working with them. But hopefully for some of you, if you've got external folks or within your business, you have different browsers, you can now join. Additionally, on encryption, the first thing to say, all Meet video meetings are encrypted in transit. The data is secured, encrypted using SRTP and SSL. And also external guests can join via invite only. So interestingly enough, you may have seen a few people sort of coming to join in the meeting. One was actually a room that ASUS has, and it was asking to join the meeting. The reason for that is that that room wasn't actually within the original invite. That's a big barrier we see in security. You have your own domain and then what's outside of it. And then finally, on the privacy piece, Google does not record or store meetings on local devices. If you are listening today and that's something that you want as a video conferencing feature, it's not what we provide within that. But I think that there's good reasons for doing so. Again, additionally, on the privacy part of this, meetings recorded by participants are encrypted in the cloud. This recording will be encrypted at the end. And then finally, you own the data that's within any of our Google Meet sessions. Google never processes data for advertising from these sessions. And I think it's very clear. We are very clear about our data centers and where they are. And we will continue to work on our security to provide a good experience. I just wanted to highlight one part of that we have had questions about. Video meetings and cloud recordings are encrypted by default. So just wanted to be very clear that all the data in Meet would be encrypted in transit by default between a client and Google for video meetings on a web browser, whether that's Android or iOS, as well as in the meeting room as well. So wanted to highlight that. If you are from a security team and you're evaluating this, we do always point out if you join a meeting by phone, audio is carried by a telephone network and may not be encrypted. And I think that's the important thing. What I would say is that if you take a look at the latest applications on iOS and Android from a point of mobile phones, they are good enough to join if you're on a 3G connection or a 4G connection. They definitely will work with 5G as well. So I just wanted to be very clear on that. We'd had a few questions come up pre-joining this session. I wanted to just sort of state that with some clarity as well. Now, on top of that, I think it's important to highlight with this that, that we do not just have a video call where we talk and interact and engage. There's also the fact that we have real-time collaboration from anywhere. And I think that this is very interesting with things like ideation and creation of information. it's ever so hard when you're remote to get the brainstorming going. Jamboard actually sort of stands up here and can really provide that. And I think we as a team, Rich and I were in an offsite for 2 days. We used the Jamboards at the start of that as an icebreaker to sort of share like information. I've also seen them being used for throwing post-it notes up with questions. But the great thing is, it isn't just about the board itself. You can have one person in a room on a board, other people joining by mobile and tablets. So you can see here that it's on here on the Pixel phone, as well as a laptop as well, and you can brainstorm ideas out also. Another thing to mention also that I think is important is around, particularly now with the environment that we are in with Google Meet hardware, is around availability. I think you have to reflect, people have families at home. That it's important that people know if they're out of office, if they're available or not. So what you're starting to see, particularly in chat and other features, is if a recipient is out of office, senders will be notified that they're out of office with their return date. For me, I think this is really beneficial because we all often go on holiday and then somebody sends an email not knowing if you're back in a week or 2 weeks. Well, you can see that as you're writing to somebody. I think it's very powerful. I think it's important also to help people with managing boundaries as well in that. So that feature is available today. And sort of like, just to sort of like encapsulate this session, so let's finish off. I think it's really important. G Suite is a complete team communication vehicle. And I think the fact here is that whether you're sat just using G Suite today and just using Gmail, is that we offer that sort of like almost like a circle of things that can help you communicate across the business, whether it's seamless video meetings to going to a Jamboard to collaborate or Google Voice. All of these things now are being integrated. And what I would say to you is that's the crucial thing is that your workforce can really leverage all of their resource tools with taking G Suite and adding additional features onto that. So I'm going to move across now to talk about partner updates and insights. You'll hear now from our OEM partners. I've asked them to speak on this so they can talk a little bit more about the hardware and the innovations that they have as well. I'll maintain control of the deck. I think the first one up is actually Lisa from BenQ. Lisa, are you there?
I certainly am. Hello.
Hey, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Yeah, so hi guys, I'm Lisa Yates from BenQ. I'm head of workplace technology and I look after the partnership with Google. It's nice to see some familiar faces on here and some Jamboard users. So hi guys. Just to first of all explain the partnership between BenQ and Google, we are the worldwide distribution partner for the product. So we support a series of countries and work with the reseller channel as well as the end user. So I have a team that work with me that will support you as the end user for training and actually implementing Jamboard into your ecosystem. So Mark briefly touched on Jamboard earlier. So really it's a whiteboarding tool that integrates seamlessly within Google Meet, allowing teams and individuals to kind of collaborate together. You don't need the physical hardware. You can actually run Jamboard on the application. So whether you're running a Chromebook through the Chrome browser or from a tablet or phone, you get a very similar experience. It is much more intuitive using the actual physical hardware itself. And there are a few tools like the integration with Meet that work better, obviously, on the hardware. It integrates with G Suite, so you can bring in content from doc sheets and slides, as well as sticky notes, images from the web, and you've got intuitive drawing tools as well. So just to go into some of these tools a little bit more and what's available. So you've got basic drawing tools and highlighters and a series of colors that you can work with. We've also got handwriting and shape recognition, which uses the intelligent tools within the screen to actually recognize your handwriting as you're working. And the shapes allow you to produce things like flow diagrams if you need to do that. You've also got the Google search, so that just does use Google for the search engine and will pick up on 4K images first for you. There's also a cropping tool that allows you to crop content directly from the web. So if you're a web designer and you're looking at certain parts of your website, you can crop the content straight onto your whiteboard and you can work on it from there as well. The integration with G Suite, as I mentioned, does allow you then to bring in your doc sheets and slides, as well as PDFs, so you can work on them directly within the Jam session. Mark picked up on sticky notes earlier. Sticky notes are really popular. So if you're creating a Trello style board, or you want to just do a bit of an information dump, it's a really good place to start with, just being able to populate the screen with sticky notes and then obviously move them around based on process. The physical hardware itself, so the hardware is a 55-inch 4K panel. You've got infrared touch within there, so it's in-glass IR, so you've got a really quick touch response. It feels as intuitive and easy to use as a standard whiteboard. You've got a set of speakers within there as well as a mic and a camera built into the front too. So it does become that all-in-one kind of small meeting or huddle-based solution. So if you're looking to upgrade any spaces, or you're looking for something which would sit in more of an open space, this is a great product. The screen also has embedded things like NFC, so that allows you to tap in and tap out of a Jam session, as well as Bluetooth. So from your smart device, you can send a Jam to the screen to continue working on it. You've got USB-C and HDMI in there as well. So if you do want to use it as a standard display screen, you can switch between the Jamboard function and a display screen. And then the most important thing is it comes in 3 colors. So you have gray, blue, and red. As well as a rolling stand if you'd like it as a mobile solution, or a wall mount in the box if you're looking just to mount it in an existing space. The BenQ team are fully set up to offer demonstrations of the product. We can do that remotely, so you can dial into a Meet session where we actually jump you straight into a live Jam session, and we can go through all of the tools with you there. We do also have a series of Jamboards in flight cases that we can ship across the UK. Obviously, at the moment, depending on whether your offices are open or closed, that would depend on whether we could ship to you or not, but the units are ready to go. So if you want to book either a demonstration with the BenQ team, or you'd actually like a physical piece of hardware to test on site, you can scan the QR code there, or just get in touch with Mark or myself. And that's it from me.
Great, thank you, Lisa. Thanks very much for the update from BenQ on the Jamboard. Moving on now, I'd like to ask Kieran, who I think is on an ASUS Google Meet hardware kit, to present from the ASUS side. Over to you, Mark. Kieran.
Hi everyone, I'm Kieran from ASUS. I look after our Google Meet hardware across EMEA, as well as in the UK. So I'll just give you an update today on our current hardware systems and what we've got launching soon. Let's have a look at the timeline of Meet hardware. Just give you an overview of where we've come from and where we are now. So back in 2014, ASUS and Google launched the Chromebox for Meetings, which was the first hard bundled meeting solution for Google. And over the years, we've had different iterations of the kit, and we've recently announced the new ASUS Google Meet hardware. And what you can see over the past 6 years or so, we've seen the physical Chromebox powering the device changing from the Chromebox 1 to the Chromebox 3 and now the Google Meet compute system. And we've also seen better peripherals included with the kit. So now we include a Google Meet Speakermic, which is specifically designed for Meet, and a touchscreen control panel, and also higher quality cameras. So on the next slide, we have an overview of our current offering. So this is our Hangouts Meet hardware kits. These are available at present, and they've been available for the past couple of years. We have two bundles, the standard room bundle and the large room bundle. And the difference between the two is just the camera. So the large room bundle doesn't come with a hard bundled camera, but you can purchase a qualified camera separately. So if we take a closer look at the standard room on the next slide. So the standard room kit is designed for meeting rooms of up to 8 people. In the kit, you get the Chromebox 3 that powers the solution, a 10-inch touchscreen panel, a 4K Hudley camera, and a Google Meet speaker mic. In the large room kit, which is on the next slide, you get an ASUS Chromebox, a touchscreen control panel, and a speaker mic. The large room bundle is designed for larger rooms up to 20 people. You can daisy chain additional speaker mics for any room size, and again, you can purchase a qualified camera separately. Okay, so if we have a closer look at what's in all of the bundles. So in the Google Meet systems, we have the Hangouts Meet systems, we have an ASUS Chromebox 3, so it's powered by an Intel Core i CPU. It's secure because it's based on Chrome OS. It has automatic updates, and it also manages all of the firmware updates for all of the peripherals. Then next we have the touchscreen controller, which is the MIMO monitor. So this is a 10.1-inch touchscreen. It supports HDMI in, so you can present locally or to a meet, and you can control your whole meeting room from the touch panel. Then we have the speaker mic, I think. Yeah, so we have the Google Meet speaker mic now. So this was designed specifically for Google Meet by Google. It's got great noise and echo cancellation and 360-degree audio pickup. You can daisy chain up to 5 speaker mics for any room size, and it's also compatible with Google Assistant. So on the next slide, I think we've got a QR code. So Google Assistant is currently in beta mode, so you need to sign up to trial it, but at the moment it currently allows you to join a meeting, exit a meeting, turn on spoken feedback, and dial out numbers. So it's great if you're deploying or looking at deploying Meet into your offices and you don't want to worry about touching anything in the meeting rooms. Okay, and finally, in the Hangouts Meet hardware kits, we have the Hudley Go camera. So it's a great 4K camera with an ultra wide field of view. The image sensor is 4K, which allows for digital zoom without loss of quality, but also has a great feature where it automatically zooms and crops around the participants in the room. Okay, so next, I think we've got an overview of our Google Meet hardware kits. So these are the kits that we've recently announced over the past few weeks. They'll be replacing the existing Hangouts Meet hardware bundles and will be available in roughly 4 to 8 weeks. We're still waiting on stock to arrive. So the biggest difference here is that we've now got a starter kit, a small medium room kit, and a large room kit, and we can take a look at what's in each kit. So the starter kit, this is a new kind of bundle to the portfolio. The starter kit includes a Google Meet compute system, a Hangouts Meet, Google Meet speaker mic, and a Hudley IQ camera. And then we've got a remote controller with a QWERTY keyboard for control. And then we've also got the small medium room kit, which is the same, but we've got the MIMO panel for control. These kits are both great for rooms of up to 8 people, but what you might find is that the starter kit will go in bigger open spaces where you don't want a control panel and you want to be a bit more flexible. Then next up we have the large room kit. So very similar to the Hangouts Meet hardware kit, the large room kit doesn't come with a camera. but you can purchase a qualified camera separately. Again, it's powered by the Meet compute system, and it's got the MIMO for control and a speaker mic. And again, you can buy additional speaker mics for any room size. Okay, so as a quick overview, I've just done a comparison between the 3 kits that we supply. I think the main differences here are the controllers and the cameras. So the starter kit comes with a Huddly IQ camera and a Google Meet remote. The small medium room kit comes with an IQ camera but a MIMO monitor for control. And the large room kit doesn't come with the camera, but you can purchase a qualified one separately, and it comes with a MIMO for control. So let's take a closer look at the Google Meet compute system. So in our Hangouts Meet hardware bundles, we have the ASUS Chromebox 3. In the Google Meet systems, we have a new box that's specifically designed for Google Meet. It's been redesigned from the ground up to ensure you get better performance and longevity. Our testing and manufacturing processes have changed as well to ensure that they're suitable for enterprise use. Again, they're based on Chrome OS, so they're secure, and they get automatic updates. And as with the last kit, all of the firmware updates for the accessories are through the device itself. Okay, next slide, please, Mark. On this device as well, the Google support, so the auto update expiry is June 2028. So that's 8 years of support on the hardware. It's also a newer, slimmer design, so it's 30% slimmer than the previous Chromebox 3. So it's great for fitting behind displays. Also, all of the ports are now located at the back of the box, so it's got easier for cable management. We also supply this with a magnetic wall mount for easy servicing and maintenance, and a magnetic stand. Okay, so the Google Meet controller. So if any of you have any Chromebox for Meetings kits, you'll remember the first generation remote. We're now launching a new remote for the starter kit. So on the front, it's got all of the controls you need to join a meeting, control your camera, mute your microphone. On the back, there's a QWERTY keyboard, so you can type in meeting codes or participate in the chat. The remotes will be available separately. I saw someone asked a question in the chat, but they won't be available for a few more months, but towards the end of the year, we'll have them. Okay. The Huddly IQ replaces the Huddly Go in the bundles, in the starter kit and the small medium room kit. On the surface of things, you'll see that the spec hasn't really changed a lot versus the Huddly Go. However, all of the components used in the camera are much higher quality, and there's also glass optics. Okay, so in the UK, we offer a 40-country warranty for 3 years on all of the kit included in any of our hard bundles. So in the large room bundle, the camera will be serviced by the camera vendor. On top of that, we're now able to offer advanced replacement service in 27 of those 40 countries at an additional cost. So if you're interested, please reach out. So the advanced replacement service is designed to ensure that if a piece of hardware does fail, that we can get the room up and running again as fast as possible. So if for example the camera fails, all you need to do is contact ASUS. We'll send you out a replacement part, and then you just return the faulty part. Typically, we'll ship replacement parts out within a day, so you should have them within 2 to 3 days at most. Okay, I look after the UK and EMEA, but it's worth noting that we have a team in every authorized country for Google Meet, and we can fulfill Meet hardware across EMEA and globally. So my contact details are there if you'd like any more information about that. And then finally, I've created a little QR code, a form So if you'd like to know when Google Meet hardware will be available in the UK, please just fill in the form, and as we get more accurate ETAs on stock and availability, we'll reach out to you just to let you know when it will be available. And that's it from me, Mark.
Thank you very much, Kieran, for the update. So moving on now to Logitech, and Francesca De Vito, over to you.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Francesca Di Vito, and I'm the Logitech Alliance Program Manager for the Google Partnership here in EMEA. As you may probably know, Logitech is leader in the video collaboration space with the full portfolio of video collaboration products that made us #1 worldwide, both for webcams and web conference cams. Some factors definitely played a big role in made us achieve this goal, among which the dedication that we have towards design, thanks to which we won several design awards for our products, and the ease of use of our solutions. Next slide, please, Mark. Next slide, please.
It's gone
Next
across.
slide, please, Mark.
Okay, no worries, just 1 second. That's my fault. I didn't. There you go.
No problem. No problem.
Okay.
Now more than ever, a connected workforce is important. Therefore, IT decision makers and managers should focus on providing to their employees intuitive tools to allow them collaborate from anywhere. So we have created a full set of video collaboration solutions certified for Google Meet, and that extend the same powerful experience of Google Meet platform from the desktop space to the meeting room space. For what concerns the meeting room space, organizations can choose between 3 different bundles that provide purpose-driven attributes matched to the specific of the room type and size, from small and adult rooms to large and boardrooms. The 3 kits includes a pre-configured Chromebox PC. Next slide, please, Mark. A Logitech Tap Touch controller through which you can manage the meeting, the calendar, but also some of the features of the different video conference cams that are included in the kit. Next slide, please, Mark. And then a high quality video conference camera. A MEETUP for what concerns the small room. That is an all-in-one product that integrates 3 microphones and a speaker, and that has a super wide 120 degrees field of view. Next slide, please, Mark. Or a rally camera for the medium and the large room that has adaptive pan, tilt, and zoom features, and that includes 1 speaker and 1 mic for the medium room, and 2 speakers and 2 mics for the large room that could be extended to up to 7 mics. Next slide, please, Mark. The modularity of our kits provide to organizations all the flexibility that they need to configure their meeting room space, and plenty of options when it comes to installation. In fact, the kits include a suite of accessories and mounts for easy installation and secure cabling, and you will not need third-party cables, as all the apps and the long cables are included already in our kits. Next slide, please, Mark. Here you can see the 2 Logitech strong USB cable, 10 meters and 25 meters, and the Logitech Rally hubs that are included with the medium and the large kit. Next slide, please, Mark. An additional accessory that we recently added to our portfolio is the Logitech MEETUP mount for Jamboard. The mount is very easy to install on the Jamboards and enhances the video collaboration experience and enables Jamboards also for larger meeting room spaces. The mount is already available today through Tech Data Maverick or directly through the Eckler website, and you can find here the link. Next slide, please. The Logitech video collaboration solutions are available in more than 100 countries, and we have an ecosystem of more than 3,000 resellers, providing free global customer support 24 hours. Early this year, we launched the Kickstart program with the goal to help G Suite customers to kickstart their video-first cultures. Now that remote working and video collaboration have become a core component of the business strategy, we want to support even more organizations, providing them with extremely high quality and familiar tools to smooth this transition. This program is dedicated to G Suite customers that are planning to keep 10 or more video conferencing meeting rooms within the next 6 months. And what Logitech provides are up to 2 Logitech small kits that the customers can keep permanently and install in their meeting rooms. The kits are not inclusive of the Google Meet license. For this reason, we ask you to collaborate with an authorized Google Meet resellers in order to provide them. In here, you can find the QR code that redirects to the application form and the link to apply for it. And if you are a partner and you want to nominate some of your customers for the promotion, please reach out to me to the email address that you find in the slides. Now, working from home is definitely a reality for millions of people, and we understand that many businesses are deploying remote work at scale for the first time. For this reason, we developed this resource site to provide remote work tips and resources to help organizations navigate a rapid transition to working from home. In fact, as I mentioned before, our video collaboration products not only address the meeting room space, but we also have a full portfolio of high quality and plug-and-play webcams and headsets that can help you optimize your desktop space. In this regards, we intend to provide to remote workers and desktop workers the right desktop collaboration tools to boost productivity, stay connected and work comfortably. I'm very happy to announce that we will be soon launching our desktop collaboration program that is fully dedicated to G Suite users. With the program, we will provide our flagship personal collaboration kits that includes Zone wireless headset that is fully certified for Google Meet, and either a C925E webcam or a Brio webcam. So if you are interested in receiving updates and information about this program, in here you can find the QR code and I will reach out to you with more information. Lastly, a few words about our IT Tacos webinar series. These webinars are designed and structured in collaboration with the Google team to share best practices, updates, and our point of view about how to leverage video collaboration and stay connected. Now, the next session will be the 16th of June, and in here you can find the registration link. And for the first 200 registrants, we will also provide free lunch, breakfast, or dinner based on the timing of the session. So I highly encourage you to register to follow our webinar series. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Francesca, for the update. So I just wanted, before we've got almost with perfect time, we've got 3 minutes just to go through resources before we go to Q&A. Just wanted to highlight some things that are available that can help you looking at rooms and design. The first thing to say is I would strongly recommend that if you are looking at the deployment of Google Meet hardware and you're at a very early stage, is think about the life cycle of the devices and how you will manage this. This is I've actually taken from our own internal sort of playbook. But I think it's very important that if you are sort of looking at new ways of working and you are considering sort of like different aspects to that, it's worth thinking about how you're going to deploy, validate, deploy, operate, and ultimately design a room. You may not see yourselves as designing a room, but actually how it's set up, you'll probably, in some of your organizations, be the go-to person for that. I think it is important, if you're trying new concepts, try it on a prototype before you go to a bigger room. Within Google, we talk about, team food is less than 15 rooms, then we go into a production. But I do strongly recommend, if you are a larger organization with 100 rooms, you may want to think about having 3 or 4 standard designs that you can use, versus each room being a bespoke fit out to do so. Again, this is something that that is well worth talking to some of our resellers on. They've got experience of office moves and can help here. I'd also like to point out, we do get this question coming in a lot about Outlook. There is now a new updated Outlook Meet plugin that's been launched. As you can see here, there's a nice little video running of how that works. If you have external people who are asking how to do that, you can get hold of that. There's a link here to do that. And I think if I click on the next one, I've actually sort of said, it is now the easiest way to enable Meet scheduling in Outlook or Windows. I think also, it is Google's recommended option for adopting Meet in an office environment. And also look at this with, if you're looking at G Suite Essentials, this is something to also look at for Meet scheduling and easy access to Drive as well. Now, to be clear, unlike the previous Outlook add-in, you don't have to worry about Exchange requirements here. And it works on Windows for native Outlook. So you'd have to use the existing add-on with Mac. But there is a link. We can send that out afterwards, or you can ping us and drop us a line for that. But it's available now, and it's a good enhancement if you are an Outlook user. I think this was mentioned. We also have a Jamboard whiteboarding book that's available. If you scan this link, you can get hold of it. Things like Kanban boards and other ideation features you can use within that as well. So again, that's another resource that I do strongly recommend you take a look at. And we also have a room design guide. Again, here's a QR code. This is online and available now. It talks about things like room layout, equipment, furniture and lighting, acoustics, all the things that can help you potentially get started on building out an office room and fitting it. So good resources that maybe you're interested in, or your facilities team will want to look at around how they plan out a room. And then finally, contacts. This is a session Rich Lozelle and I have been talking about for a while about putting together. We're there to contact if you've got any questions, as are the BenQ, ASUS, and Logitech representatives, Lisa, Kieran, and Francesca as well. So I wanted to sort of open up the final piece for a little bit of Q&A. If there's any questions to go for here. I think probably, I know there's some in the chat, but I'm always happy to take one question from somebody who's a bit vocal or has got something burning on their mind from this, or it can be for the other presenters today. If not, I'm going to have to go and lean on a couple of questions that I have had before. One that has come in is that asking me about the Acer Chrome base for meetings. Yeah, that device is available. It's a 23-inch device, and it's currently available. And if you're interested in that unit, it's well worth talking to one of your reseller about that. Today, what you've seen is probably all of the kits are being used in various forms. I think Kieran is on his own kit from ASUS to use that today. Are there any questions? Oh, Peter, go ahead. If you just come off mute, you can answer the answer.
Yeah. Hi, thanks for that. Towards the beginning, you were saying about streaming Meet using the limits and stuff with inside Meet software. One of the challenges we've got at the moment is trying to live stream our council meetings, and we have to use a third-party bit of software, and then we push that through to YouTube. We're getting quite a lot of pushback from that, and people want to use Zoom because that's got the encoder and stuff built into it to do direct to YouTube live streaming. So we really struggle. The OBS software and other things we use often drop out, and we moved over to Chromebooks. We don't have particularly powerful devices to be running large bits of software. You sort of suggested earlier that people outside of your domain could watch a live streamed Meet. Is that now the case, or has something changed, or is that something on the roadmap for that I can go back to try and keep pressure off all those Zoom lovers.
I'm just going to look. I know Nick's on the Hangout as well, so I might just ask him to.
Yeah.
Do you want to take this one, Nick?
Sure. Yeah, at present, the live streaming is just within your own domain. We do have a solution which employs a third-party system, which we can talk about individually if you're interested. But we do, on the roadmap, we do have external live streaming coming towards the end of the year.
Cool, thanks.
Yep, cool.
Are there any other questions? Okay, I'm just going to have a quick look on just see if there's anything came up. I did see there was a few about the meat parts. Okay. Yeah, so I think probably we're out quite. I can see there's one here. Let's have a look. Okay, my QR code is no longer active. I'll have that look. Just search for my name on LinkedIn. I'm sorry about that one. With the remotes, there are remotes still available. I see Oki's replied on that to do that. I think that covers it. Are there any other questions we can do? Okay, great. Well, thank you very much for joining today. It's been a pleasure for this session to host this session. As I said, if you want to contact us, please do. If not, have a good rest of the day, and I look forward to hearing from you if you've got any questions, as do my colleagues as well. Thanks very much, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, Mark. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.